Happy Labor Day, everybody. In celebration of Labor Day is all about celebrating the American worker, right? And I'm wondering whether you are able to celebrate your own work on this holiday, yeah? I know for one thing that I do tend to celebrate my work on days off because I feel good about what I do. I enjoy what I do. And when I need a break, I get to reflect and stop and reflect and process more about what I do. But there are other people that go to work and they can't wait till Friday happens, right? They can't wait until it's all over. And I don't want that for you if that's what's going on for you, because life is so much more meaningful and so much more powerful when you have a meaningful life, right? So today we're going to ask 7 questions to help you create that meaningful life that you want, okay? But I'm going to start off with mine. And that is, I, for decades, was taught to accept the things that I cannot change and the wisdom to know the difference. And despite years of graduate school in neuroscience and epidemiology, which is in Western medicine, in the most prestigious schools in the country, whenever I personally saw a doctor or counselor at these same institutions, more often than not, I'd be told that my problem wasn't real or that I just had to accept it. And so I really became disillusioned with Western medicine when I realized how little coursework my colleagues were getting in nutrition. These are the MDs that were taking classes with me and across the hallway. And I'd ask them, I'd say, well, what kind of instruction are you getting in nutrition? And they would say, oh, we get 1 or 2 classes. And I'm like, and I'd look at the curriculum and I didn't see anything on the curriculum. And I'd say, do you mean just 60 minutes worth or an hour's worth? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, okay. I did take a class in nutrition. And if you look at my nutrition textbook, let me show you how thick it is. Oh, I can't do it. Hold on. I'll get it for you. I want you to see how thick this nutrition textbook is. It's huge. Ugh. Okay. That is what we need to know about nutrition. It is huge, thick, and massive. There's so much to learn, and that cannot be covered in just a couple of hours' time. So nutrition is a big subject in itself, and if doctors aren't knowing enough about nutrition, then how can they really get to those underlying causes? How can they address them? They just, and they get a couple courses in pharmacology at least. That's just the first couple of years. And so did I in neuroscience. So I started to have some concerns about Western medicine's motive, and it was making me rather uncomfortable. And so I began to look for answers beyond. I looked at various techniques that were not considered valid by Western medicine, but I thought they made a lot of sense. And I thought, why isn't Western medicine taking a closer look at this? And I started to realize that a lot of it had to do with ego. But I found a lot of effective techniques, but nothing that got me truly excited until I discovered this method called the body code, which is what I use. And it allowed me to get straight at underlying causes. And I love this practice because that's been my life purpose and my passion. My background's in epidemiology. It's about finding the underlying causes of what people are struggling with. And specifically, my focus was in mental and cognitive health. So that was my passion, right? And so I get to do that now with people one-on-one, right? And so, after 6 years of practice and hundreds of clients, one thing that I just love about this practice is that it, after all this frustration with not seeing enough progress in my own mental health and my own cognitive health, I got really discouraged, right? A little bit of encouragement here and there, but I didn't believe anything was possible until I bumped into this method. And now, and not that I just saw the method and I said anything is possible, but after 6 years of practicing this with hundreds of clients and seeing all the progress I've made, I still stand by that belief that I believe anything is possible. And that's really exciting. And what I love about what I do is that I have clients that have seen me for years. These are usually my most disenfranchised and discouraged clients that have gone to practitioner after practitioner after practitioner of a whole variety of different things. And they start to see, after believing that nothing ever works, they also start to see that anything is possible. And that is what gets me out of bed every morning. That is what gets me exciting. That is what gives me meaning in my life, is knowing that I can give people hope, and more than just hope, in a powerful way that I didn't have as a kid. And so I have that drive, because I have that commitment and that purpose to meaning. I'm working on something, a cause that's much greater than myself. And so it really helps me get through life when life serves me lemons, and life has served me a lot of lemons. I did not grow up in a family that was supportive or there for me when I needed them, and they're still not all the time. I've got some family that more so than others, but most families really not that engaged, and so it's tough, and this one mission in life has pulled me through so much you would not believe. So that's what gives me meaning and purpose, and that's what keeps me going every day. And I'm not the only person that has meaning and purpose in their life. And in fact, you don't have to have a job like mine. You don't have to be a healer to have meaning and purpose in your life. You can have a job as simple as being a janitor, and you can infuse meaning into that role in ways that make you want to wake up in the morning. There's a wonderful podcast by Hidden Brain that's all about that, making work meaningful. And they talk about a janitor that, one janitor sees their job as, just something that they have to do, right? Get up and clean, right? Or do their cleaning, right? Hey, Sam, thank you for commenting. Yeah, exactly. Thriving, helping lots of people immensely just is fantastic, right? Love it. And so this janitor, one janitor might see, oh, my job is just cleaning and I can't wait till, TGI Friday. I can't wait till the Friday comes around. And another janitor would do things like whenever they could, they'd look up at the perspective of a patient, who was like lying in a hospital bed, and they'd look up at the ceiling to see what the patient was looking at. And they would do things to try to adjust their view to make it more interesting to them. Or they might try to make sure that they have their water when they need them, or to call a nurse when they need them. And that is what made being a janitor so meaningful to one person versus another person who just would go home. So there's so many ways to infuse meaning in your life, regardless of what you're doing, okay? And some other fantastic examples of people who've infused meaning through life, and they've become very famous because they drive their life with meaning and purpose. But Steve Jobs is a fantastic example of that. He doesn't just sell computers. He sells devices that unleash creativity. I mean, that's what he says he's done, or that's what he said he did. And that, in the devices that he creates, he has a much broader vision than just selling a device, right? To make people's lives better. And that's what gave him meaning and purpose. And Oprah Winfrey, she's not just a talk show host. She's here to elevate the levels of consciousness. I mean, how awesome is that, right? So much better than just being a talk show host. And Howard Schultz, he sells coffee. He's, Starbucks. But no, he says he builds communities. And that, again, so much more meaningful than just selling coffee. And that's kind of what Dunkin' Donuts does, right? And look where Starbucks has gotten. So, like many others, having a passion and life purpose gives me a compass, and it helps me make plans about my future. It helps me, I can know what I need to be and how to get there based on my greater mission. So everything is shaped around my direction. I have a direction, I have a purpose, I have people to serve, and I have a message to deliver and a commitment to make this world a better place. But I know that there are others that that don't know what they want. And for them, life becomes less organized and less focused and less directed. And without a commitment to the world beyond themselves, they often don't see a point in working hard, right? So they may work to pay the bills and hang out with friends and family, but then they seek a pleasure that's more fulfilling. I'm sorry, less fulfilling, more fleeting and less fulfilling, right? And without a purpose, they're more susceptible to addiction and depression, right? So that meaning, again, drives you throughout life and helps you get through the bad times, right? But not just that, it gives you a purpose to wake up excited every morning, and not just on Fridays, right? Or not just on the weekends. So if you are struggling to find a passion-filled life, there are questions that we can ask to kind of get at those. And so I'm going to invite you, if this is an issue that you need some guidance with or help with, to answer some of these questions in the comments below. And the more you ponder on these questions and the more you think about them, the more you're going to get from them, okay? So, and even if you don't feel like sharing it in public, share it with a friend, but do share it, because it will help, okay? So the first question is sort of the most obvious, but what am I passionate about, right? And to do so effectively, to ask that question effectively, we often have to let go of those self-limiting beliefs, yeah? So we may find something that we're passionate about, or we may say, oh yeah, but we can't earn any money in it. Let's let go of that for now, right? Let's just find what you're passionate about, because even if you don't think you can earn money in it, or even if you don't think you're good about it, all those variables can change, yeah? Just let them go and open up that mind to what are you passionate about, okay? And the other question you can ask, hey, Roby, thanks for joining me. So the other question is, and Roby does have a passion-filled life, I know he does. But the other question we can ask is, embedded in what am I passionate about is, what makes your heart sing, yeah? And if you know what makes your heart sing, please share that with us, because all that makes you just, it can inspire others in a big way. I've been watching lots of TED Talks lately, and I'm telling you, those people have hearts that are singing hallelujah, yeah? It's pretty incredible and so inspiring. So the next question, after thinking about what am I passionate about or what makes my heart sing, is, if I were my best, what would I do right now? And again, that's another opportunity. Take out any self-limiting beliefs. Believe that you can do anything. Just imagine that you've been given, all of a sudden, just given this superpower, yeah, injected with this device or this liquid that allows you to be the super you, right? The you with no limitations. And what would you do if you were without limitations in your life? If you were absolute and highest best version of you, what would you do? And yeah, please share in those comments. I would love to hear from you. So here's another question you can ask, okay? And I know I'm just throwing the things at you, but I'm going to share with you later where you can get these questions so you can think more about them, because they're good questions to let ponder and marinate a bit, yeah? So the next question is, if I were on stage with an audience eager to hang on to my every word, and this was the one chance I had to make an impact, what would I say to them? Yeah. So again, imagine that you not only have that special power to be your best, but that the world is ready and eager to hang on every word you have to say, and they're ready to hear the lessons that you've learned personally in your life. So what lessons have you learned that you want to share with others? Yeah. Your chance is now. Yeah. So share them below. I want to hear them. All right. All right. So that's the third question. Here's the fourth question. What is it like to be exceptional? Yeah. And for you, that could be very different from me, yeah? For me, being exceptional means that I'm acting with integrity, that I believe in what I do, that I'm making this world a better place, and that I'm acting out of love and compassion, yeah? And doing it, being exceptional, I think being smart and being able to figure out problems is good too, yeah? So that's exceptional, and being creative and so forth. Yeah. But for what, what is that for you? Maybe another person, it's about kindness, or it's about making every person's life better that you encounter, right? Maybe it's about taking care of the people that they take care of. What is that for you? What is it like for you personally to be exceptional? Okay. And the fifth question is, what is my contribution to the world going to be? Yeah. So embedded in that question is, what am I good at? All right. What has come easily to you that maybe others have not been able to easily grasp? And you're just like, oh yeah, that's no problem. Like, I know that for me, and I know this doesn't have anything to do with where I ended up, but the one subject that was easy for me was math. And maybe because I'm half Asian, I don't know. But I noticed a lot of other people were struggling with math, and that was something that was easy for me. So what's easy for you? What is the thing that's like, oh yeah, I can do that easily? Or dance. I'm a pretty good dancer, right? But don't ask me to learn a language. That's not where I need to end up. So what are you good at? And what do you find easy? And then Marie Forleo likes to ask it this way. What is that one special something that only you have to offer? I love that question. Yeah. What is that one special something that only you have to offer? Okay. So those are 5 questions. I'd love to hear your comments. There are 2 more, and these 2 more are, remember that I said that these questions need to marinate a bit. Yeah. I'm not necessarily expecting you to go, aha, I found the answer, although it might happen, but it may not happen tonight, right? Or it may not happen today. But as you let them marinate, do come back to these questions. But here's some things you can do to keep that mind open, yeah, to keep thinking about these things. One is, I've asked you some open-ended questions, and getting more open-ended questions is a great idea. Yeah, a lot of open-ended questions have been built and designed to help you find meaning in your life. So search for those. You can do a Google search on them, yeah. You can do reading and listening and hearing and talking to inspired people and hearing their stories. So a great way to do that is through TED Talks, yeah. There's other resources I'll tell you about in a bit, but just finding people who are inspired. A lot of entrepreneurs are great people to talk to, or academics too. They're often very passionate about what they do. Traveling, and you can travel abroad, or you can even travel within your home. Yeah, go explore, do different things, try new things, taking new classes. Yeah, so as long as you're expanding your brain, the more you expand your brain, the more different situations you put in it, the more ideas you get. I know Roby, for example, is very good at doing that. Right, Roby? So volunteering is a great thing to do, right? It also gets you out of your own head and out of your own sense of who you are, right? And it also can help you gain a new perspective about other people's lives that may not be as fortunate as you, or animals if you're working with animals. So basically it's try anything new. And what happens, what's great about this, just opening your mind, is in order to be creative, and this has actually been shown in neuroscience, that creativity really comes from not only just taking different ideas, but putting different ideas together, yeah? So it's a lot of, we don't usually just come up with a big idea on our own, right? We actually are building upon other people's ideas and then adding little bits here and there, yeah? So the whole idea of patenting things I'm not so crazy about, because oftentimes there's simultaneous discoveries that happen at the same time, because that same data is available to everybody, right? So creating ideas is a more collaborative effort, and the more different brains that are going on to create that idea, the better, yeah? So that's how you keep your mind open. One thing that Steve Jobs says is take a walk. And his favorite thing to do was to talk to colleagues, but he would take a walk. And why is that important? Well, walking actually helps you put aside that executive functioning, which is what we're doing when we're thinking. Yeah, we're planning, we're organizing, we're just thinking in this one way. And walking actually helps put that executive functioning at rest. Yeah. But you still have a purpose. So you still have some executive functioning, but you also have more of a open mindset because you have to look broader, right? So you're engaging two different aspects of your brain. You're engaging that more relaxed aspect of your brain as well as the purpose-driven aspect of your brain. And because those two aspects, let me turn this off, are working at the same time, they're working synergistically to create new novel ideas. So the same thing with like taking a shower, for example, or if, oftentimes if I'm preparing my blog, I may go and do dishes, something that's very like, that requires some thinking, but not a lot. Even driving could be that way to some degree, but something that you're doing something purposely, but you have a lot of free time to just let things relax, right? So getting away from your usual routine, out of working mode, and I like going to mountains. Yeah, it's a great place for me to come up with ideas, and talking to people, that really adds to the whole process. So that's a great way to generate ideas. The last question that we have is, what resources do you need to figure this out, right? So I mentioned this earlier, but I love TED Talks. Fantastic way to be inspired, so much fun. And they're often telling amazing stories that just get me really pumped up. I'm also reading this book called The Storytelling Secret. It's from TED speakers to business legends, why some ideas catch on and others don't. And I can't recommend it more highly. It's a super interesting book, and it's featuring a lot of the TED Talks, the TED speakers that I've been talking about, but there's a lot more. It's full of storytelling, but also full of inspiration. So there's just a lot that you can learn there, from how the best and the brightest come up with their ideas and become the best and brightest. Yeah. There's a website called I Will Teach You to Be Rich. I have to admit that I haven't done it because I'm not in great need of it right now, but it looks fantastic. So check it out if it's something that you are looking for ideas. It has a lot of self-assessment tools. And speaking of self-assessment tools, What Color is Your Parachute? A common book that's been around for decades, and they keep having new editions, but it also has a lot of self-assessment tools. And there's plenty of other self-assessment tools, but these self-assessment tools help you generate new ideas about what you may be good at, or what you may be a good fit for you, right? There's actually, I have a link, and I'll post my article that describes what I'm talking about below. But it's 11 best career quizzes to help you find your dream job. Yeah. So I'll post that in my blog that I'll share below. Another thing you can do is you can get life coaching, right? I have a colleague who helps people with passion, clarity, and purpose. And so, those open-ended questions I've asked you, that's the kind of thing he does, but he does it professionally and does it regularly. So that's another thing you can do. If you really like the idea of answering questions, and you feel like you need some accountability, somebody to hold you accountable to figuring this out and really getting to the bottom of this, I recommend a coach. And I can point you in his direction if you're interested. And finally, the last thing I can recommend is you can come see me. I can release barriers to helping you discover what you want. We actually have a concept called the heart wall. And if you have emotions that are trapped around your heart, it can impede you from finding passion for life or for whatever, whether it be relationships or hobbies or career. And I've had clients where I've released their heart wall and they figured out what they want to do in life. A client specifically, for example, released her heart wall, and 2 months later, she realized that she wanted to fulfill her childhood dream of becoming a airline attendant. Now, I don't know if you know how competitive it is to be an airline attendant, but oh my goodness, I think it's more competitive than being a vet or a doctor. It's like, only 1 out of thousands of people make it. It's incredible. And so she put both feet in, and she got all dressed up, and she just had the look and did everything she did. And now she works at Alaska Airlines and loves it. She's as an airline stewardess. So that's what's possible, is that we can unleash barriers to finding out what you want. But there's also other things that can get in the way, self-limiting beliefs, anything that resiliency, all kinds of things that we can do to help. So if you think that you're getting in your way at a way that getting in your way in a way that you're not able to identify, consider working with me, okay? So I can offer a complimentary consultation, and you'll get that in the blog article below. All right, thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful Labor Day. I wanna see your comments. I wanna see what gives you passion and joy, and I want some answers to any of those questions, anything that might have inspired you. And on this Labor Day, go celebrate the things that you love about your job, yeah? Because that's what it's supposed to be about, celebrating the American worker. All right? Take care and enjoy. Bye.